Myself Maheshwaran, Assistant Professor, Department of English. Now, the topic is The Merchant of Venice. It was written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare, he was born on April 23, 1564, and he was died on April 23, 1616. He was a playwright, dramatist, actor, poet. In the same time, he wrote 37 plays and he wrote 154 sonnets. And he dealt with different types of genres, tragedies, comedies. He wrote 4 famous tragedies: Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and King Lear, and dealt with different kinds of themes also. Macbeth, it is a supernatural element. He used with the superstitious and 3 witches, the role of 3 witches. And King Lear, it is a lack of judgment, the father's tragic story. And Othello, it was a suspicious, the characters of Desdemona and Othello. Then Hamlet is a historical play. And now I'm taking about The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice, there are characters of and themes of the divine quality of mercy, revenge, friendship, and justice. Friendship about Antonio, Bassanio, and Lorenzo. They are called as trumpet. So Antonio getting money from Shylock for Bassanio. Bassanio's love, Portia. At the end of play, Shylock was the antagonist of the play in The Merchant of Venice. And Antonio, Bassanio, Lorenzo, they are friends. Shylock, the main idea is how to revenge Antonio, because of Antonio was a moneylender and was a merchant. These are the characters of The Merchant of Venice. Shylock was an antagonist, Jewish moneylender in Venice. Then Portia was a wealthy heiress from Belmont, was a heroine of this play. Antonio, the merchant and friend of Bassanio, already I told that. Then Bassanio, a gentleman of Venice. Jessica was Shylock's daughter. Very beginning of the play, the elopement of Shylock and Lorenzo, and this was a help from Antonio. And Nerissa was a Portia's servant. And finally, Dr. Valerio, lawyer and Portia's cousin. Actually, at the end of the play, Portia disguised from a lawyer Baldassar, and she was helped to Antonio. Okay, this is the plot, or this is a little bit of summary of the Merchant of Venice. Antonio takes a loan from Shylock to help his friend Bassanio. Actually, then beginning of the play, Bassanio loves Portia. Portia was the richest girl. So how to marry or how to love with Portia? So he getting a loan from Antonio, and the helps to the Antonio, and Antonio getting from a loan of Shylock. Shylock already planned to how to take revenge to Antonio, and then finally this is a good idea to Shylock. Then he signed the agreement with Shylock. Which agreement? That is the agreement is 1 pound of flesh. Antonio 1 pound of flesh give to Shylock, and then the middle of the play he can't repay the amount because of his business. Shakespeare's very famous 4 tragedies: Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, and Hamlet. Each play has one kind of major tragic theme. Macbeth is the supernatural element play. The supernatural element he used with the superstitious powers, like 3 witches, the character of 3 witches, dreams, Lady Macbeth's solloquy. So those are create about the tragedy of Macbeth. And Othello, the main concept is suspicious. What are the characters? Othello, Desdemona, Iago. Iago is a main antagonist of this play. He wrote different kind of genres like tragedy, comedies, and poem. Then his very famous 4 tragedies: Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, King Lear. Macbeth, he dealt with the themes of supernatural element, that means superstitious, like the character of the 3 witches, Lady Macbeth, solloquy, like supernatural elements. And Othello, he used with the theme is suspicious, like Desdemona and Othello. The main antagonist is Iago. Then King Lear, it is the lack of judgment. There is 3 daughters, Cordelia, Regan, and Goneril. They are lovable like father, but Goneril and Regan is against of his father. Then Hamlet is a historical play, and Shakespeare's other play, the other like genre is comedy, like Much Ado About Nothing, The Merchant of Venice, Midsummer Night's Dream. The one of a very famous, prominent plays, The Merchant of Venice. These are characters like Antonio, Bassanio, Lorenzo. They are called as trumpet. Then this is a comedy play, but like he deal with the love, revenge, what kind of themes. The beginning of the play or open of the play is like Antonio sitting with the depression because of lack of money or borrow from Shylock. Shylock was the antagonist of this particular play, and he take revenge to Antonio. Then What are the characters like Merchant of Venice is Portia, Lorenzo, Antonio, Bassanio, Shylock. And the very beginning of the play, Bassanio borrow the money or getting a money to Antonio, getting from Antonio. But now this time Antonio's money or economical is like went to the ships, so that's why he cannot help to Bassanio. Bassanio loves Portia and he want to the money and move to the Belmont. So he gave from Antonio. So Antonio borrow the money to Shylock and helps to Bassanio. Then finally, Antonio failed the payment of Bassanio amount. So that's why Shylock take a revenge to Antonio. Then in Belmont, Portia is a very richest girl, and his father and her father they plan to like caskets. There are 3 caskets: lead, gold, silver. One amongst there is a picture of Portia. The who or one man like how to choose the correct casket. They did with the or like marry her. No one get a perfect or correct casket is there. And finally, Bassanio take a correct casket of Portia. Bassanio take a perfect or correct casket in a Portia. And finally, Bassanio married to Portia. Then at the meanwhile time, they are know about Antonio's situation from the borrow of money Shylock. Shylock take a revenge or apply to the document or agreement the fail of the money or fail of the payment, that like he give a 1 pound of flesh to Shylock. So Shylock like in a court and then Antonio is a depression month. Like at the time, Portia dressed like a man, she helped to the Antonio. At the end of a session, they give a judgment. They in a court asked to do. That means Shylock asked to the Christianity. Otherwise, Antonio relaxed to the court. And finally, the end of a session, they are like borrow the money. At the end of a session, Shylock get an amount or asked to change as a Christianity, and Shylock reject to the session, and Antonio getting a chance or getting a restored or chips. And the well end of climax of happy end in the Merchant of Venice. Thank you for watching.